Dame finally officially made his trade request. And for anyone that wants to follow, along with Trailblazers news in general, and obviously this Dame trade saga, make sure you subscribe to Sean's Rose Garden report. Sean, obviously you've been following the Blazers, following Dame. Walk us through the Cliff's Notes version of how we got here.
Well, I think there was a thought going into the season that both from Dame's end and from the team's end, I don't think there was like there's been this kind of thought that has bubbled up, and you're going to probably start to see this from various outlets and different people that are close to him. Like you're going to start to see this being pushed, but they were on the same page about we want to build a contender around you. I think there was an idea that that once the season started to go sideways this year, they did what they had done the year before and shut him down and said, look, we're going to try to improve our draft pick. And the idea, I think, was that they were going to, look to move the pick in order to, get, more of a win now guy. I'm sure you guys in Toronto talk a lot about potentially trading like Siakam for that pick or something. I'm sure that's something you guys talked about a lot. I don't know how much that was really an option for Portland, but that's, something we can get into somewhere else. But I think where things got complicated was when the pick in the lottery moved up to number 3. Because, I think at that point, and, Joe Cronin, the general manager, kind of felt like you can trade the 5th pick for, like, a guy, and you're fine.
Yeah.
You cannot trade the 3rd pick unless you're getting like a superstar back, because especially once Scoot Henderson fell to number 3, that would be like if he had traded the 3rd pick and traded like the chance to draft somebody like Scoot Henderson for like Brandon Ingram or Zach LaVine or something like that, then that would have been a pretty irresponsible move to make as a GM, even if the goal is building around Dame. And I think Dame's people, and this is quite understandable. Like, I don't blame Dame's people. Like, here's the thing. Here's the thing about this whole thing. I don't blame either side for the way that they have handled the last month or so. I don't blame Joe Cronin for deciding that keeping the 3rd pick and not trading it for somebody who isn't like a real needle mover that's going to make you a title contender is the right way to handle it for the future of the franchise. And I also don't blame Dame for feeling however he feels about it. I think he has every right to feel like he's Brett Favre and they just drafted Aaron Rodgers. I don't know how much of a football audience you have in Canada, but if that analogy makes sense, that's kind of what happened here.
Mm-hmm.
And so now Dame, has officially, made it known that he would like to be traded and that there's one specific team that he wants to go to. The problem is that team that he wants to go to really doesn't have anything good at all to trade. So you can kind of see what the issue is here.
You're not excited about Tyler Hero?
You don't want to see Hero Simons backcourt with Scoot and also Sharp and
that's I don't think that's really, I don't think Tyler Hero making $30 million a year when all of their good young players are guards, I don't think that's something that really moves the needle. I also don't think 2 future first round picks in 2028 and 2030 from a franchise that has missed the playoffs 4 times in 20 years. I don't think that's really getting them excited about trading Damian Lillard either.
What about the future 2-time MVP, Nikola Jovic?
He does have 10 out of 11 letters in his name, the same as Nikola Jokic. So I guess that's close enough. But it's you see what the issue is here. Like,
of course.
He's saying he only wants to go to one team, and that team doesn't have anything to trade. Like, it would be one thing. Like, I think this situation could be resolved a lot more easily if it was like a Brooklyn Phoenix thing, where Phoenix actually has real stuff to trade. Like Brooklyn, like Kevin Durant went to the Nets and not only said, trade me or fire the coach and GM, but also only wanted to go to one team. And they were still able to get back Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and 4 first-round picks, or whatever the amount of picks that they ended up getting back was. Paul George, like very last minute, just a number of years ago, went to Sam Presti and said, I want to go to the Clippers to play with Kawhi. And, Sam Presti still got back Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a million first-round picks. Like, trading a guy, getting a guy to a team he wants to go to, you can do if you can get real stuff back. But if Joe Cronin, the Blazers general manager, gives Damian Lillard away to Miami for that package, like,
yeah,
he's been, I'll put it this way, he's been acting the whole offseason like he's doing what's best for the franchise as not what's best for Dame. If he were to then turn around and say, okay, well, we've been, we made the pick. We haven't made win now upgrades because we're trying to look out for the future of the franchise. But now we're going to trade Dame for basically, 30 cents on the dollar just to get him where he wants to go. Like, I don't think that would really go well for him.
Right. I mean, like, I would argue he's done right by Dame. He's got the long-term money. He's got the guaranteed money. Obviously, he's earned that. He's deserved that. And unless he trades him to like some sort of very non-contending situation, like you could argue that there has to be some sort of balance that's reached. You can't just insist on going to one spot that doesn't have great pieces back for Portland. Like you can't essentially have your cake and eat it too. And I think that that's probably reasonable to pretty much everybody. I don't know specifically in Portland, but every outside of the situation will probably understand. And yeah, if more teams were expanded, could a team that has a previous history of trading for a free or a star player who wanted to go a specific spot, but we intercepted them, could a team like Toronto potentially get involved? Could we be a dark horse even? Give us some hope, Sean. We need content for like 2 weeks to speculate on this.
How attached are they to Scotty Barnes?
Is that the beginning and end of the conversation?
I mean, I think if you're trading Damian Lillard, you're clearly going into a rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
You want, when you're doing that, you want picks and you want, young players that are like actual blue, like you mentioned.
Yeah, you want rookie
Jokic.
of the year winners. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You want somebody that you can actually say like, and I know Scotty Barnes didn't have a great second year, but like I think long term there's still some thought that like he's going to be a good player, and obviously he had a great rookie year. But you want a young player. You want at least one. I'll say this: you want at least one blue chip thing, whether it be a young player of that caliber or a pick that is going to be a good pick, unlike those Miami picks.
Right.
And I don't know what Toronto's pick situation is off the top of my head. Do they have all their firsts that they can trade? Do they have firsts?
We have one future first that's been earmarked for San Antonio for the last 3 out of the last 4 drafts, I believe. But one of them went for Kawhi. That one's completely fine. The other 2 have gone for Thad Young and Jakob Poeltl. So, but beyond that, it's all there. We could swap.
How many like future firsts and swaps are we talking about?
I think we can trade 3. And then swaps, I think.
That's more than Miami has, and those will probably be better picks than Miami's
All
picks.
right, we're in the lead. We're already in the lead.
But basically, yeah, like if they're going to do a deal with a team, they need a thing back as far as like one blue chip asset, whether it's like Utah is a team that's coming up that has come up as a team that might be interested in getting in the running, in kind of the same way of Danny Ainge saying, you know what, screw it. Even if he doesn't want to go there, we'll take the swing. They have all those unprotected Minnesota picks, and you could probably make a good bet that those Minnesota picks are going to be pretty good picks. So those would be like, I would imagine that Joe Cronin, and I haven't talked to Joe since all of this went down, so I'm not getting this directly from him, but I would imagine that what they'd be looking for is either a young player of like the caliber of a Scotty Barnes that you can say, we have a core now of Scotty Barnes, Scoot Henderson, and Shaedon Sharpe, and that's what we're going to build around, and that's going to be like our future group. Or a pick that is going to be a good pick. Like that's the type of thing I think they'll be looking for if they do eventually, make a deal here.
Yeah. So it's not realistic. I mean, I didn't think it would be realistic if you substituted OG or Pascal in the situation. I mean,
well, they tried to get OG multiple times. They talked pretty seriously with Toronto about OG last year.
Right. And walk us through that conversation or what that looked like. Because my understanding was it was the 7th pick, which ultimately became Sharpe.
It was the 7th pick plus stuff. It was my understanding, and I think they would have maybe said yes if it was just the 7th pick straight across for OG. My understanding is that it was the 7th pick, Josh Hart, Nasir Little, and a future first is what Toronto wanted.
Okay.
Which is kind of a lot to give up for OG Anunoby. So, I mean, I think you can understand why Portland walked away at that point. And, OG, I'll also say this. I think, I haven't gotten this confirmed, but I think on Friday night, they tried to re-engage again on OG.
Interesting.
Once Fred VanVleet, because I think if they had been able to like get something done with OG, I think that would have been enough to get Dame to say, okay, we're good here. But because that's a guy that Dame has wanted for a while. And honestly, if he were to go to Toronto, I think part of the appeal for him would be playing with OG because that's his boy. Like he has guys around the league that he likes and he wants to play with, and OG is one of them. But once Fred VanVleet walked, and it was Masai, it was kind of looking like a disaster offseason for Toronto, where like, oh, he turned down all these offers for Fred VanVleet at the deadline and then just let him walk for nothing. There was an opening there where I think Portland called and said, Anthony Simons plus whatever picks. Is that enough to get something done? Obviously it was not. And then Masai pivoted and just signed Dennis Schroeder as like his replacement point guard.
We're good now.
But
we're fine.
But I think that was like a last ditch thing that happened on Friday night. So I don't know if OG, I don't know. It would have to be, there would be a lot of salary that would have to get sent back. That could probably be whatever filler it needs to be, as long as it's not like bad long-term money. But like, the
Raptors have expiring contracts, so they can,
exactly.
If it was a Scotty-based framework, you would have to match a lot of salaries. So it would have to be one of these, like one for 4 or 5 players outgoing, and be like,
sure, yeah,
Gary Trent coming back to you, and
Thad Young,
Otto Porter, Thad Young, Chris Boucher.
Right, you can make the money work. You can make the money work. However, the important stuff I think would be what they're getting back as far as young players and draft assets.
For sure.